feel like we're stepping into the upside down with me reading an intro to an Anthony Mason piece, but I'll give it a shot here. The artist Leonardo Drew started out drawing superheroes. Over the past 30 years, he's become a highly acclaimed sculptor with work in the collections of New York's Metropolitan Museum, the Museum of Contemporary Art in Los Angeles, and the Tate in London. With two notable new exhibitions this year, he caught the eye of our very own Anthony Mason. Good morning, Anthony.
Good morning, Don. I first came upon Leonardo Drew's work while walking past a gallery here in New York this past summer. Through the door on the back wall, I saw this sprawling sculpture that seemed to be leaping out at me. When I went in to take a closer look, I discovered Drew's story is as fascinating as his art. How long have you been with this gallery?
Actually, this is my first exhibition with the gallery.
Leonardo Drew's exhibition at New York's Gallery Lalong last summer was centered around one breathtaking piece. Do you see this in your mind at some point?
There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in my head, man. So
the sculpture, called simply number 215, looked like an explosion frozen in space and time. So what is this actually made of?
These are all store-bought materials. I mean, started off with just plain birch plywood that's been treated with like colored sand.
So you've done this yourself?
Yes. It's not found stuff. People are always mistaken the work for like, you know, found objects. Yeah. These things are painstakingly made in the studio. I become the weather in order for the work to sort of exist in that way.
Are the weather. I love that idea. And in his Brooklyn studio, the 58-year-old artist is a force of nature. This piece just grows up out of your floor, basically.
It does, yeah. And it's even on a turntable.
Oh, it is. The work he's made here is now featured in the Harvey Milk Terminal at the San Francisco airport and at Madison Square Park in Lower Manhattan, where he's created a city in the park that was a playground for kids this past summer. So this is your book from teenage years. Mm-hmm. Drew grew up in the projects of Bridgeport, Connecticut. We're drawing all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. His mother saw no future in it until the child prodigy was given his first show at 13.
And at that point, my mother was like, she laid off him because you start having exhibitions and bringing in money, and you live in the projects, you're doing all right.
So you were drawing superheroes?
Superheroes. I mean, at that time, also Marvel Comics and DC Comics came after me.
Were you interested?
I was, because I thought that's what art was.
But then, in his high school library, he discovered a book on modern art.
And Jackson Pollock just completely blew my mind.
What did you see?
I saw unbridled energy, this push forward, aggressive push forward into an unknown. Absolutely leaped off the edge.
And you wanted to leap off the edge?
I mean, I've been leaping ever since.
Drew suddenly stopped drawing entirely. And you just walked away from it.
In order to get past this prettified surface, I need to challenge it. So that meant that no more drawing. Find another way to create.
He took a job at Christie's auction house, working to save up enough money to devote 2 years full-time to his art.
And they gave us a bonus because we sold the Van Gogh sunflowers.
Yeah.
And they gave us all a bonus, and that kicked me over the top. I just was like, I was just giddy.
With that freedom came a creative explosion.
I was just making it, but I wasn't thinking about showing it.
What were you making it for?
I'm an addict. What a question. I mean, you look around, I mean, you can see it's a serious addiction. It's like crack. So I am definitely the crack addict of art.
How do you measure success?
Listen, if I can get up and do this, put myself in an unknown, and actually having to dig myself out of that, that is bliss for me. So there's never a moment where I'm not asking, what if?
In 1992, Drew began working with cotton. That's him pushing a bale 30 blocks to the studio. It's what kind of put you on the map.
Exactly, exactly. And for a black man to work with that material, obviously politically, I mean, it's his charged material.
But did it have that meaning to you?
It was something I absolutely needed to do, but once you did it, and you did it well, it was time to move on. This is colored dirt. That's colored sand.
Is that a way to force yourself to be kind of uncomfortable?
Yeah, I don't like the idea of being safe.
He wants his work to have an emotional charge. What's in that emotional weight?
Some people say the dark.
Are they right?
Yeah, within each and every one of us, there's a weight of our existence. Mm-hmm. It's a collective weight. We all have it as human beings. It's where our deepest and most charged emotions lie.
Drew travels the world, to China, to Machu Picchu in Peru, to seek new inspiration. For his first outdoor sculpture in Madison Square Park, in the shadow of the Empire State Building, Drew wanted to bring the towering city down to the people.
And I thought, you know, why not actually allow the viewer to sort of be like Gulliver and allow you to be actually the giant in this?
All through the summer, his city in the grass had thousands of visitors.
Did you kind of sneak into the park and watch how people reacted?
You know, that was actually one of my biggest joys.
Yeah.
And just watching people, you know, enjoy something that you made with your hands.
Yeah.
And they were literally like becoming a part of it.
The sculpture, in fact, came to life when they were on it.
Absolutely. And it was just like, this is magic.
The lawn is closed to traffic now, but his city is still up. And we ignored those signs.
These were put there so that you could do exactly this.
To climb.
The climb on it. This is it. You see?
Yep.
The city in the grass will be in Madison Square Park through mid-December.
Hello, King Kong.
And will then move on to the North Carolina Museum of Art. And the artist Leonardo Drew will go back to asking, what if, again?
I love this. This is such a great idea. This is very sturdy.
Yes, I built it, baby.
Yes, he did. You can see Leonardo Drew's work next month at the Hammer Museum in Los Angeles, and next spring, if you happen to be in Paris, at Galerie Lelong in Paris, France.
We have just like, what, 2 weeks to go check that out?
Swing by 2 weeks, but I mean, there'll be more. As you can see, this man does not stop working.
Yeah, I'm a crack addict of art.
Yes.
Sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
He said, look, there's a reason I don't have a family. He's up all night working.
His motivations are so pure, though.
Yeah,
It's
they are.
all about
They
the
are.
art. He didn't do it to make money. He just did it
Yep.
because he had to.
When someone who would give up a drawing talent as significant as his was, to throw himself basically into the abyss, to just feel his way through it, it's remarkable, but you see the result.
I think that's the first time you've ever been called King Kong, though.
Yeah.
That small city will never look the same the way it does under the lights of New York. And
Yes.
being
No,
here in
it's
a
but
city like
it
that.
will move. It'll be interesting, and as he points out, every time a piece of his moves, it changes. It develops.
Yeah.
It sort of adapts to the circumstances and the people who see it.
So
We
cool.
loved it. So good
Great
having you back,
piece.
Anthony.
Great to be here.
Thank you.